Dice Company contains fantasy violence, mature themes, and unapologetic bickering. No feelings were hurt in the making of it, but listener discretion is advised. Dice Company will always be free, but it's not free to make. Please consider supporting us on Patreon or Apple Podcasts and get access to our weekly roundtable show Extra Roll. Just follow any of the links in the show notes for this chapter.
In the aftermath of the Great Freedom War, the world changed. The great forges of Ovik fell silent and the lands grew quiet. The Gnomish people, once the heartbeat of Athlon's most wondrous inventions, now live in the shadows of their former glory. But while the forges fell, innovation did not. No, it simply went underground, hidden from the Empire's gaze. The Gnomish cities, now whispers of a bygone age, still carry the weight of history. Bullywalk, the capital, a hive of trade where sea meets steel. Craggle, deep within the Celeste Forest, where the Woodworkers Guild thrive in isolation. Then there's Slateholm. They call it the Glittering City. It is a place where progress still hums, a city on the brink of something extraordinary, though few outsiders know it. A new invention stirs in the darkened workshops. The gnomes are perfecting a new form of transport. A revolution in the making. A hope, perhaps, for the world outside, were the Empire not interested. This close to the ravaged lands of Roanoke, strange creatures appear and disappear in the wind. But below, the gnomish builders do what they have always done. They keep tinkering. Until something finally breaks. Welcome one and all to Dice Company. We're a group of old friends weave tales of triumph, heroism and despair under the guise of playing Dungeons and Dragons. My name is Tom and I'll be your DM through the continuing adventures of this pack of navel-gazing lone wolves. Navel-gazing lone wolves, please introduce yourselves and tell us one fun fact about your characters so that we may diagnose the origin of your hatred of teamwork.
Hello, I am Dave, and I am playing Benny Quest. As we established last week, Benny was brought up in an orphanage and doesn't know his parents or his birthday. But Benny is not, in fact, his real name. As a young child, Benny was sent out, because it wasn't a particularly caring orphanage. The children were all sent out to earn their keep, which was usually done through begging and petty crime. Benny, being very young, couldn't say a lot of words, so just say, Benny, Benny. Penny, Gov, Penny. And he became known by the children as Penny Benny, just because it rhymes. Kids like rhymes. And eventually it stuck, and that became his name.
And that became Brennan Pissyfingers.
Yeah, then it evolved over time.
Many name changes.
Well. I think we have a new best fact. I would not want to be the rest of you following that. That was superb.
Thanks. I'm glad you didn't ask me what his real name is.
Nope. None of my business.
Haven't got that far.
Is there anyone in the quest who is using their real name at all?
Obviously, Tok. Clearly not going to put out my best stuff after Benny's intro. I'm Harry, and I'm playing Tok, who is an imposing but surprisingly gentle 6'8" automaton. Humans are 10th, possibly moving up to 9th on Tok's list of best animals, but gnomes, dwarves, and elves, etc., are not on the list. This isn't an oversight. This is because Tok learnt from an old gnomish friend of Tick's that unlike humans, the elder races are not mere animals.
All right, that's very good as well. Oh my God.
We got to 2.5 points last week.
You did get to 2.5.
Best thing about my facts is there's no way that Charlie can steal them because they're...
Right, so I want to point out... Okay, so yeah, it's true. Sometimes I piggyback on the facts of others. I'm Charlie, I play Vander Finnick, and yeah, I'm not going to roll out my best stuff either. So Vander has had precisely 2 existential crises in his life, but don't worry too much because he's handed out 191 existential crises to others.
And they're all on a spreadsheet.
Which he would be very good at if they existed in this world.
Fun fact alert.
That's not bad.
I'm taking care of the half.
That's the half.
I look forward to ruining this for everyone. So I am Alex. I am playing Augustus Zeno. And my fun fact this week is that Augustus does not want to talk about what happened in the pleasure houses of Gothamer.
Ooh, intrigue. I quite like that one, you know. I'm going to give that a half for a record-setting 3 out of 4. And in a break from the norm, we have a fan letter.
What?
That's right. A fan has written to us.
Hang on.
Okay.
I think we need to get back from the excitement about the letter/email to the word before that.
I also want...
Fan.
I thought your parents had stopped listening.
Well, the letter reads as follows. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Love the podcast, but I have concerns. Given that the universe is infinite and time is just a construct, but a constantly shifting chain of causes and effects too, and assuming that we are in fact individual beings with free will and not just simulacrums used to tell the stories of others, and that no man is an island, and we don't just want to survive, but thrive when we work with others, my question is this. Why are all the players so opposed to acting like a team? I don't include Tok in this. He's a sweetheart. I'll hang up and listen to the answer. That was Chris from North London, by the way.
Obviously, I'm super psyched that we got a letter from... by the way, I would not regard that as fan mail. that seemed like a complaint. But
Sounds like they were a fan of Talks.
Oh, God. But, okay, well, anyway, I'm gonna pass this up.
Join the Talk fan club.
It was very meta, so I think Augustus loves breaking the fourth wall, so I think he should field it.
I was starting to wonder if it had been written by Augustus through the fourth wall and somehow arrived.
It would explain how we got a fan.
It would also explain how I woke up last night and Augustus was in my bedroom. All I can say is for the listeners rather than the viewers is that I'm
He's
pretty
gone
sure.
Plural. That's bold.
I'm pretty bold, overconfident, you might say. I think I just got a glimpse of Harry, and is he suddenly wearing sunglasses?
He is absolutely wearing sunglasses in the most preposterous move ever seen.
Is that literally a cool guy power play?
I'm outdoing Charlie now, aren't I?
Are you trying to be a cool emoji?
I've known Harry for a long time. I've never seen him paid a compliment, so I guess we're new ground. This is what happens, clearly.
It is an abusive circle of friends, that is true.
Thanks for calling us friends.
Someone needs to answer the question. I think the answer is, I've been awesome all the way through, but these guys just don't understand teamwork. There you go. Apart from Tok, who I can probably work with.
Benny doesn't like A, the posh and entitled, and B, people telling him what to do. So really, he's not got the teammates he requires for harmony.
Augustus objects to being referred to as posh and entitled. He worked for everything. He worked to be born into this level of privilege.
Well, I think I want to just I preempt. I think this is the episode where it all comes together and we get on famously. Go team! We got this.
I'm going to write a rambly, drunken and emotional blog post responding to this North London person.
Well, there we go. There we have it. Thanks for the letter and a very happy 70th birthday to you too.
More
And
fan
also
mail
wish him
then.
a happy birthday.
Happy 70th birthday to Chris from North London. And without further ado, let's get stuck into this week's chapter of Dice Company. Last time on Dice Company, having brought death and destruction to the peaceful village of Haven, you evacuated the city of locals, timber-bombed an Imperial airship, and escaped to the east. After a week of simple air travel, you dropped the survivors of Haven in the Moon Shadow Mountains in the north of Ovik. With them safely deposited, you boarded the airship, newly christened the Sterling, and set sail through the calm skies heading towards a safe space on the mountain of Grodsan Kir, also known as the Celestial Sentinel. This was suggested to you by the Obsidian Matrix. The mountain, while apparently safe, is also near to the gnomish city of Slateholm, a place Vander seems to know well, including a contact by the name of Gearhead. With less than a 4 day's travel ahead, you still have 5 days worth of ration and water and a new cook, Rosalind the Turtle. Ship's Biscuit Vander Finnick, please roll a d20, and for the rest of you, please decide who is going to roll a survival check, a perception check, and a nature check.
I have rolled a 1.
Oh, God. The squid's back. This time he's in flight.
We're not going to make it, guys. I think we get a Hindenburg.
You rolled a natural one.
Yeah, we did. So I assuming we're a team. We just talked about teamwork. We rolled a 1, and I think we're going to go out like a fireball now, presumably.
Tock will roll a nature check.
Can
I don't think any of you know anything about nature at all. So that's 12 on the nature check, unfortunately.
My nature would be strongest for me, but I'll get perception because my survival is very poor. And 16 on perception.
A 4 in survival.
We're all going to die.
Oh, God.
So we're going to know a lot about and see in great detail the trees we scud into. Is that what that tells me?
Pine cones hurt when you land on them.
Useful, Smash.
It seems a shame to have done that extensive intro when we're all about to die 3 minutes into the episode, isn't it?
Imagine how the listener feels.
At least we'll do it as a team.
As you look out over the side of the Sterling, you can see the Moonshadow Mountains rising like ancient monoliths, their peaks shrouded in a misty veil that gives them an ethereal quality. The rugged terrain stretches as far as the eye can see, and they present a tapestry with jagged cliffs and steep slopes adorned with lush greenery and cascading waterfalls. As the airship glides over the landscape, the sunlight dances upon the snow-capped summits, casting a radiant glow. Deep valleys and narrow ravines wind through the mountain range, hinting at hidden caves and mysterious passages waiting exploration. A network of crystal-clear streams and rivers meander through the valleys, reflecting the sunlight like liquid silver. Then, a colossal shadow sweeps across the deck of the ship. You look up to see a creature of ancient legend and untamed might. With wings outstretched, the enormous form of a prehistoric beast glides effortlessly through the air over the airship. Its wingspan is wider than the ship as it casts its dark silhouette. Its scaly lizard-like skin shimmers in hues of iridescent blues and greens, catching the sunlight and creating an ethereal glow. Its elongated and slender head reaching a beak-like point, it swoops suddenly to the left, and its wings draw in as it disappears from view. Roll initiative.
Oh, good lord. I read the wrong book. I should have read the sequel, Air Beast Takes a Lover.
16.
11.
13.
And 19 from Tock.
Where were these rolls when we could have avoided this whole situation?
Yeah.
I mean, my perception roll meant we spotted it. So, yeah.
I got nothing. I just feel like this is just... I feel like Chris from North London is just rolling his eyes at that barbed comment. I'm worried that I'm standing right at the pointy nose end of the boat.
To the east of the boat, you can see the huge prehistoric creature. It looks like it's threatening to attack. Tock, you are first to act.
Are the
I'm going to dodge.
automatons at the battle stations? Those, was it Plex at the ballista at the front? Okay, and that's pretty close to the ship, isn't it? Okay, Tock is going to move to the side of the deck with the creature there, and he's going to launch a firebolt at it. Right, okay, Tock gets a 25 to hit with his firebolt.
It's a hit. Please roll for damage.
Does a massive 2 damage.
But rushing over to the side of the airship, the Sterling, Tock raises his hand and a bolt of fire flies out of his fingertip, crashing into the side of the giant scaly beast, which barely registers the hit. Anything else, Tock?
He's going to shout to Vander and say, maybe we should land the ship. This beast looks formidable.
You just like poke a giant dragon and then turn to me and just throw me the problem.
Yes.
Go team!
Yes,
Yeah,
just for clarity, I do believe that's what just happened.
Yeah, cool. Don't worry, Tock. You go have a nap. We'll sort this one out.
Next up is Augustus.
I just want to see if there's a place I can get to that would put everyone within 30 feet of me.
You could get everyone apart from Vander.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, that was easy, wasn't it?
That's gone rather well.
Woo! Lucky there were no moral dilemmas there.
Yeah. I have absolutely no problem with what is happening right now.
Just the guy steering the ship. Don't worry. Totally expendable.
So, if I've understood this correctly, so I'm going to bless Lex, Benny, and Tock. So I can bless 3 beings. And what that is going to do is whenever any of them makes an attack roll or a saving throw for the next minute, they can roll a d4 and add the number to their attack or saving throw. Arm up my boys, because I've got really not good at firing things. So I'm hoping that they're going to be better than me at that.
Very nice. Okay, the creature's turn. The creature flies in and lands heavily on the front of the airship and begins to attack Plex and begins to attack the ballista. That's a natural 20.
Ooh.
Okay, so 6d6 plus 2.
Oh, God. Well, okay, that's not good.
That's 25 damage.
It's like a lot, isn't it?
So the creature swoops in, having identified the threat from Plex at the front of the ship, lands heavily, causing the airship to tip forward slightly as it leans back, and with one enormous munch, he swallows Plex whole and destroys the ballista.
Oh my god.
Well, joke's on him because Plex isn't made of food, is he?
I mean, the big problem here is that now the name of our ship just feels like playing favourites, doesn't it?
It's now called the Sterling Plex.
That sounds like a wrestling move.
I also feel like the name of the ship is about to get a lot longer if everyone who dies today goes on the name.
At least we don't have a funeral for this one. Obviously, Plex won't have a normal funeral. And this is the second time that... Is that a second... Oh, no.
No.
Is there a second dragon?
A second prehistoric creature appears from the west.
You keep on saying prehistoric creature, but I'm pretty sure there aren't any, like, dragon dinosaurs.
Then I'm afraid you'd be wrong.
How embarrassing.
Yes, well, exactly.
It lands heavily on the side of the ship, further causing the ship to tilt forward, and it begins to attack the ship itself.
I had a real hope it was going to attack the other one.
There was a no one there, wasn't it? Yeah.
That is a 23, which is a hit. So 3d6 plus 2 for 6 damage. So it kind of bites into the beautiful, ornate wood feature of the boat, causing a bit of chew damage, but not much more than that.
To the sign that previously said the Sterling. So it's fine, we've got to replace that anyway, so it's not a problem.
Vander.
I'm obviously horribly upset by what's just happened, but my reaction is I just say, bastards! And I push the ship into an immediate dive, trying to shake the dragons off. At the same time, I'm going to cast Grease, because as we know, Grease is slippery.
Very nice.
He's telling your companions to hold on first?
No, you guys are all blessed, right? It should be fine.
Oh, so this is passive aggression.
I don't have enough automatons to last me more than about 3 weeks with you guys. You're getting all my friends killed.
Everyone but me got blessed, so this dive grease thing is fine, no problem. I'm not upset.
Okay, Vander rolls his eyes and says,
You're upset.
Hold on. There you go. As an afterthought, very much an afterthought.
Tie yourself to the main stick.
Oh, screw you guys.
Is that why you got rid of the ballista, by the way? You thought that's something I'd have to pronounce? Or just eat it?
No, it's because you rolled a natural 1. And like, what do you want from me? Roll better.
I want Pax back.
Where would you like to put your 10-foot grease stain?
I'll put it on the front main stick, because that'll catch both dragons, I think. Not dragons, prehistoric.
And when you say the stick, you mean the deck?
No, he means the mast.
I put it... Yeah, there you go.
Have they landed on the mast?
No, they've landed on the foredeck.
Yeah, they're on the poop deck.
I think we should say poop deck, yeah.
Poop deck's the one with the steering wheel. So Vander, you're on the poop deck. They're on the foredeck.
They're on the... For people who can't see the map, they're at the other end. They're at the front.
So I'm kind of throwing the ship into a mad dive in the hopes that I can dislodge the prehistoric creatures.
Let's see how they do with a dexterity saving throw. What is the save DC?
Spell save DC 15.
So we'll start with the one on the left-hand side, 16, and the one at the front, 8. Yeah, so Vander, you create grease within a 10-foot square at the north end of the ship, and it kind of splatters on the floor where the creatures are, and the first one to land an attack immediately slips and falls off the front of the ship.
It's dead.
And disappears from view under the ship. You can hear it kind of rattling underneath. The second one to attack manages, however, to dip its claws in as the airship now is nosed to the floor.
I'm going to call my automatons to me.
We want to keep an eye on where that one went, because I feel like in 24 to 48 hours we might be able to get Plex back.
I could see the automatons backing away, make sure there's no kind of shield between us and the dragon. That's exciting. I'll do the same myself. I'm going to come back to here.
Half of them are dead already.
Can Lenny come with me?
Yep, so Lenny follows you.
And then I'm gonna aim an arrow using Lorian's bow. 22
is a hit. Please roll for damage.
8 piercing and a DC 14 dexterity save.
Another dexterity saving throw. Oh dear. 16 is a pass. Yeah, so you fire Lorian's bow at the creature, and it hits it directly in one of its paws, and it looks for a moment like it's going to pin it to the ship, but the creature is able to shake the arrow off of it.
And then I duck beneath this staircase out of sight.
So you're hiding.
That makes it sound cowardly.
I'm just using words of the English language.
I think it's super heroic.
Yeah, I would say it's a heroic cower.
I'll take it from you, Alex. I'll not take it from the man who just called in his automatons in front of him.
I thank you.
Tok, back to the top of the round.
Okay, Tok is going to advance towards the automaton so I can get... Okay, he's going to move to the front and then he's going to launch another firebolt at it because he can't quite reach with the spear.
Oh no.
Okay, so that's a 26 and I'll get an extra d4, technically 28.
Is a hit. How beautifully unnecessary.
Exactly. And then only another 2 fire damage. It seems to be the only damage number I can roll.
So once again, you raise your hand and a bolt of fire flies out into the side of the lizard, gigantic lizard.
Why do I bother?
Who, again, doesn't really register the hit at all. Augustus.
I am going to... So I will go to here and I will attack with my rapier. 24.
Is a hit. Roll for damage.
9.
Very nice.
And I would also like to use my Divine Smite. So when you hit a creature with a melee attack weapon, you can expend 1 spell slot to deal radiant damage to the target in addition to the weapon's damage. The extra damage is 2d8 for a first level spell slot. So 2d8. So I have to roll 2d8?
Yes, please.
12.
For a total of...
21.
Please tell me the story of how Augustus kills the giant flying lizard.
Nice.
Oh my. Glancing back towards his cowering, automaton-defended buddies and Tok, who he nods to politely, he drives his rapier deep into the rib cage of this enormous, terrifying creature, which lets out a hideous squeal of pain, and then the tip of the rapier reaches its heart, it dies peacefully and falls off the ship.
Yes, it does.
I mean, stretching peacefully to probably breaking point there. It dies quickly.
Definitely the best kill of the campaign so far.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Ew.
Vander, could you roll me a d20, please?
And again, 13.
The ship suddenly rocks as if it's been hit by a boulder, as from the other side, the previously greased creature reappears.
You're greased up or...
Its paws look a little greasy. Augustus, was there anything else you wanted to do on your turn?
Turn to face the new monster and sigh deeply, please.
It flies directly and lands heavily on the center of the ship, which is, by the way, still nose down and heading towards the ground. And it is going to attack Tok.
Very wise.
14.
bounces off his shield.
Tok, can you please give me a dexterity saving throw?
As I rolled a total of a 7.
The impact of the creature suddenly appearing and flying directly at you has knocked you back 5 feet. You topple and slip over the side of the airship.
There is rigging there at least, isn't there?
There is rigging.
Tok is going to grab onto the side for dear life.
So you're now holding with one hand onto the side of the rigging, dangling off the side of the ship.
Can you describe sort of Tok's position? Does it look like he needs help, or like he can...
He definitely needs help. He failed the dexterity check, which is what was keeping... The only thing now keeping on the ship is his grasp of pretty flimsy kind of rope and material. And obviously, as we know with Tok, he's not light.
I was going to help, and then I saw my 7 for strength, but I'm not sure it's a good idea anymore.
I mean, you can still help. There's nothing stopping you helping.
Oh yeah, I'm just thinking if I've got to do a strength saving throw, I'm in a world of trouble.
I think killing this thing is going to be still pretty handy there, though. You're going to get sneak attacks with Augustus being in there.
Yeah, let Alex play hero and rescue.
Vander, it's your turn.
I'm going to leap as far as Vander does, or is able to leap.
You're going to clamber past your automatons.
Clamber past my automatons and hold onto the barrels there, because I'm obviously very unsteady on my feet. And while I yell at the automatons, starboard, I'm going to get them to thrust the ship starboard. And as my action, I'm going to cast telekinetic hands, and I'm going to pull Tok 5 feet back into the ship.
Is starboard left or right?
Yeah, I do need to know that too.
It's right.
Vander, you hobble over, holding onto the barrel as you raise your hand in the air, instructing the automatons to do a sharp right. The kind of momentum of the ship suddenly turning so drastically, combined with your gentle push of your hand, lifts Tok's incredibly heavy frame back over the top, like someone being thrown over the top rope of a wrestling ring, holding on, and he crashes onto the deck of the ship, safe, seemingly, although in combat with the giant creature.
I'll take it over dangling off the side of the ship.
Hell of a round, Vander. Hell of an idea. I like it a lot. A lot of time for that.
Team player me.
Oh, you ruined it. You ruined it. Had to open your mouth.
Good work, Vander.
Benny.
Benny leans out from under the stairs and, noticing the dragon is not aware of prehistoric creature, is not aware of him, he fires off an arrow.
At advantage.
Quite. 22.
Is a hit. Please roll for damage, including sneak damage.
So that's 11 total. And the creature needs to do a dexterity save.
Oh, damn. I already hate that bow. It's a pass. Just 14. Exactly what he needed.
I'm not 100% convinced I actually want to pin this creature, so I duck back under the stairs and pull cowering Lenny onto my lap to soothe him.
Vander, can you roll a d20 for me, please?
Not loving these.
Yeah, please add another one of these creatures.
8. Feel safe.
Thank you very much. Just so everyone's aware, the DM just rolled a 12. Talk, back to you, top of the round.
So we don't know what any of that just meant. Wonderful.
I think it means these are child dragons, and the furious mother dragon is on her way.
Oh, please don't say that. Hock is going to snatch up his spear from the deck. He's going to move around the beast so he is no longer right up against the gunnels of the on the side of the ship. Doesn't want to fall off again, and he's going to stab it with his spear. Not too hard, just a gentle stabbing. Okay, so that is a 22 to hit.
Is a hit. Roll for damage.
6 piercing damage. Oh, hang on, I would have got advantage, wasn't I? Because I'm on the other side of... I'm going to roll just in case I get a crit.
Yep, do it.
I do get a crit. Oh, I'm so glad I remembered that. +2, so I rolled a 4 and add an extra 2 to it, so that's 10 then, I guess.
Okay, so Tok, having re-established yourself back on the poop deck of the ship, right next to the stick, you take your wonderful and incredibly deadly spear, spin it around, and jab it directly into the side of the creature. It lets out a blood-curdling scream. There is now a lot of blood appearing on the deck of the ship.
Tog will shout across to Augustus and say, Augustus, I have pinned it. You may cut Plex out of its stomach now.
Oh, how wonderful.
Augustus, it is your turn.
Affect my attack. I'm going to try and cut Plex out of its stomach, I guess.
Do it.
Remember, you get advantage on the hit. There.
Rolling at advantage. Rapier. 24.
Is a hit. Please roll for damage.
10.
Please tell me the story of how Augustus kills the other prehistoric terror beast.
Oh my. Taking Tok's instruction on board, he steps forward and swings his rapier in a wide arc and slashes it beneath the ribcage of the large creature and cuts it wide open, and Plex comes tumbling out onto the deck, and the creature sags onto the... I don't know what that crisscrossy thing that it's standing on is. But, I mean, welcome to Ships and Shipping podcast, everyone.
It's the metal grates that let you put, like, cargo and stuff in there.
Why don't you guys name basic things? It's just a crate.
Okay. In that case, I finished by saying, great job, prehistoric dinosaur.
Oh. I feel like everyone should take 1d4 psychic damage for that joke.
I think Chris from North London just did.
As explained, the automaton then rolls out covered in the kind of sticky innards of the terror beast. And as he rolls forward, he stops in a sitting motion, turns his head, looks around. Vander?
He is cowering at the back of the ship.
I reach out, and you know, like when you offer a little kid a high five, they like gingerly put your hand out and just tap it. I do that, and I'm thinking Plex does the same thing. We just bat hands.
Plex actually gives you a fist bump into the high five.
Oh, yes. The awkward. Open hand to fist bump thing, and then I change, and then he changes, and then we go for a handshake, and then it's all super awkward. But nonetheless, when he gets the gist of what's just happened, he'll be super pleased with me.
Vander, your automaton is back.
Amazing. So Vander's going to scuttle down the stairs and onto the main deck to meet Plex, where he's going to examine him to make sure he's okay.
Okay, I don't mind you doing that, but after that you have to go and update the spreadsheet.
Anyone at the wheel?
Yeah, I was going to say...
We got 2 automatons at the wheel, which is why they went there.
Vander, please roll a d20.
13.
Vander, alert. The wheel is not working. Alert.
Vander turns to Augustus.
Thank you, Augustus. Good timing, well deserved. We are appreciative, aren't you, Plex?
Yes.
A pleasure. The least I could do, gentlemen.
Whilst they're faffing around, Toc's going to go and investigate this broken wheel and rudder.
Faffing around?
Vander's going to say,
A rather pressing matter on the poop deck. I will be heading back there now.
Alert. Alarm. Alert. Alarm.
I am now back on the poop deck.
Report.
Toc's going to immediately start tying his rope around his waist and to something seriously sturdy.
The main stick.
And he's going to lean out and see the condition of the rudder. I assume the rudder is how we steer this thing. How do we steer this thing? Is it a mixture of rudders and sails, or?
Why must we always ask questions about how boats work, for fuck's sake? It's a wheel. You turn it, it changes direction. I mean, what do you...
Hey, well, it doesn't at the moment, does it?
Well, no, because it's broken, as I've identified to you.
And so I was wondering, do I have to look out over the side of the ship to see if there's damage to the...
Sure, why not? Let's do it. Let's do that. Lean over the side of the ship and see what happens.
Hence the rope.
Why did we
Okay.
send the Tin Man to do this?
Benny is back to feeling extremely airsick and panicked, and he's wedged himself underneath that staircase and has got Lenny sitting on his lap, and he's like stroking Lenny and sort of going, there, Lenny, calm down, as if he's soothing the dog, but really it's the dog that's soothing him.
As Vander passes Benny,
Don't worry, Benny. This sort of thing tends to happen. Just a minor hiccup, I'm sure.
as I scuttle up the stairs looking pretty concerned.
The wheel is not working. It is stuck. We do not know why.
Otis, get below. See if you can diagnose the problem of the mechanism.
Yes, Vander. He disappears below deck at a rate of high speed. Tok, would you like to give me an investigation check?
I am going to guide myself with my knowledge of engineering works. Boom, 24.
24. Okay, it seems that in the attack from the flying terror beast that you haven't identified yet, some of the mechanisms inside the ship near to the engine room where the capacitor is have somehow got locked. You think with a firm hand you could dislodge the debris that is in the way and correct the ship.
Okay, Tok will get on to fixing it as quickly as possible.
Athletics check.
Is anybody around?
Vander's next to you.
Vander's next to me. Okay, Vander, you'll notice again, Tok's armor will have a small, crackling electricity go over it for the whilst he's moving all this stuff. So that'll be a 20 because he rolled a 15 and he added a +5, hence the crackling electricity over his armor.
Ah, nice. All right, yep. So Tok grabs the wheel, jerks it suddenly, and you hear a kind of cracking coming from below. And Vander, you hear Otis from below. That appeared to have worked. As the ship begins to right itself. Vander, you look over the side and the mountains are incredibly close and you're still in a nosedive at the moment.
Tok will pull back on the stick, on the wheel, assuming that's how we make it go up.
Do you know how it flies?
I've been on the airship for a while, seeing people fly. I imagine the general principles.
You pull on the wheel and the ship begins to come out of its nosedive just as it's about to hit the ground, and you hear a kind of as it lands in a pool of water in the mountain, and it kind of gently rocks for a moment and then comes to a stop, still in one piece. Very good.
I will Tok will turn to Vander and say, we should inspect the hull for leaks.
I think we've earned a little break.
Maybe instruct the automaton slaves to do the work.
Again, Vander doesn't really credit that with any comment and walks off the poop deck.
Okay, if he's not doing it, Tok will go down and tell Otis and whatever. Otis was still downstairs in the hold, wasn't he?
So hang on, you just call them slaves, and then you just whatevered them.
I was going to say, yeah, Vander then just casually says as he walks down to the poop deck,
Belay that.
and then just wanders down to the galley.
Then Tok will go and do it himself. Check the hull for leaks.
So you head downstairs and you can find that the hull actually has a number of heavily damaged sections. There is small amounts of water pouring into the lower decks of the ship.
I'm assuming there are no actually caved in bits, but just sort of leaks between boards.
Yeah, correct.
Tok will, he'll go and try and fix those with some. So I think the best thing to use is pitch and try and stuff the holes full of like straw or material to block them up.
Okay.
Try and make a seal, at least a temporary seal, until we can take it to someone who knows what they're doing.
Cool. Tinker's tools?
We're currently floating, right?
Yeah, you are currently floating.
A 19 on Tinker's tools.
Excellent. Yep, you are able to plug the gaps.
Oh shit! I didn't guide myself. But yeah.
As you are fixing up the leak, however, you do notice some heavier damage on the interior mast that needs some replacing if you are to successfully fly again. So you need some Jarima wood in order to replace the broken mast.
That's going to be tricky. Okay.
While you consider this down below decks, you hear a sudden low rumbling as the air elemental bursts out of the capacitor, flies up through the ship, and the rest of you see him kind of appear suddenly on the poop deck.
Yeah, Tuck will make his way up.
He stretches out, "I must rest," and then he zooms up into the sky and disappears.
That makes two of us, pal.
Tuck will appear up on the deck and say, I have fixed many leaks in the hull. We are no longer taking on water, but there is damage to the mast. We must seek repairs.
Vander is now sipping on a tea in his boat with an exotic cheroot in his other hand.
Thank you, Tok. Of course, the ship's crew will assess the damage, but we appreciate your input.
Yes, Vander.
But Vander, you instructed the crew not to assess the damage to the hull.
That's because we're very unionized, Tok, when we're on break.
Yes, Vander.
Vander, what is a union? Is it like a team?
Very much so.
Then why did you not assist?
Because the union rules say we break now. Tends to happen after you fight mythical and terrifying beasts in the air.
But Vander, the ship was taking on water. If we do not fix the leaks, we would sink.
Oh, and look at that. The break's over.
And Vander starts scuttling downstairs.
Vander, the leaks are fixed. I fixed the leaks, but the mast is damaged. We need wood from the Jarima tree.
I'll be the judge of that, but thank you, Tok.
And then wanders downstairs. Vander arrives a minute later.
We need some Jarima wood.
Yes, Vander.
Now, happily, I believe that our original destination may be the right place still to... And it may be we can limp there. Slightly more difficult now, our method of propulsion is also on a break of sorts. And yes, Benny, that is serious.
Vander, I do not believe the ship would fly without the mast being repaired.
The Sterling has landed in a small lake in a safe clearing on Grodsankir. Even from where you are, you can see the crystal blue water of the lake, but it's too deep to see the bottom. Around you are glistening stones of different shapes and colours. There is a fine mist covering the peaks above you, and 60 feet to the south is a cliff edge, beyond which lies smaller mountains as far as the eye can see. In the clearing itself, there is a small cave with a stone overhang. As you look out over, you can see in the distance a small gnomish city. Vander, you know that to be Slateholm. It is less than a day's walk from your current location. So it's still relatively early. It's like 10 in the morning. The ship currently is unable to fly, and there is no waterway that leads down to Slateholm. The only way of getting there is to walk.
Is there any sense anyway, gentlemen, in not letting the people of Slateholm know that we have an airship? Is that not drawing attention to ourselves? So the fact that it's plunged at an incredible rate down into this lake and then somehow not smashed to a million pieces when it landed could work in our favour while we quietly repair it. Perhaps leave the automatons here, other than Tok, to get on with that work, provided obviously we can find the wood. And then we can slip into the town somewhat less conspicuously than we otherwise would have done.
What I'm hearing is you think we should get off the airship, and to be honest, that's all I care about at this point. And yes, I'm in favour of this plan. Whatever. Didn't get the details, but yes.
I find your proposal of discretion acceptable.
Wonderful. Vander?
Vander appears from his cabin in his walking cloak.
Well, when did he get it? Was it Batistutas?
Vander can't afford to shop at Batistutas.
I know.
Vander shops at... I'm trying to think of a really middling player.
Carlton Palmer's robes for all occasions.
Oh, unnecessary cheap shot at Carlton Palmer.
Sheffield Wednesday legend, Carlton Palmer.
Vander.
Vander rattles off a series of orders to the automatons. around maintenance of the ship, including that they must clean the helm after unclean hands have touched it. He then makes his way to disembark.
Yes, Vander.
Are we by the side of the lake, or do we have to sail it to the side of the lake?
Yeah,
Because
so
I really hope he's just
Vander
gone.
disembark.
Vander pops off the edge.
you guys are very close to the edge of the lake, so you can easily lower the ramp and just walk on to safe ground.
I love the look of terror in your eyes as you said the word ramp. Whatever the
wood
planky thing is called.
The long, extendable plank thing. So you guys are heading towards Slateholm. Augustus, please roll a d20.
Sure can. 15.
Thank you. Talk.
I was going to say, Tok is going to take a look around at the trees in the local area to see if he can see any Jarima trees,
Cool. Give me a nature check.
since he does know what they look like, which is knowledge he's going to use to guide himself. 26.
There are no Jarima trees that you see on your journey, but you do see a lot of pine tree. If you could smell, they would smell lovely. And instead, you can just tell that there is a scent using your olfactory settings.
That is correct.
Are we just leaving a Quetzalcoatlus corpse on the quarterdeck there?
I've issued instructions to the automatons to chop it up, and obviously I'll be looking to make soup out of that by the end of the day.
As you depart the ship, you hear in the distance from behind you, Rosalind, who has been on the ship the whole time.
That's a good point.
I will cook this up, it'll make a nice stew.
What's happened to her? Has she taken a
It's been a traumatic flight for Rosalind.
That's how she speaks.
very heavy pot landed on her head?
Sod you guys, honestly. It's absolutely exhausting running these things for you, just so that you're aware. If the voices are sometimes a little bit squiffy, that's why.
I can imagine we're a nightmare. I can see that.
You traverse the rugged terrain and the air grows crisp, carrying the scent of fresh pine and the distant sound of tinkering gears. Follow the path down and you start to see breathtaking vistas of majestic peaks. There are jagged cliffs adorned with hardy flora. They seem to stand as guardians of this ancient route. As you descend further, the melody of chisels and hammers harmonizes with the gentle hum of machinery echoing from the heart of the city that appears as you turn the last corner. Welcome to Slateholm, the glittering city. A place of towering spires and bustling streets that reverberate with the hum of machinery and the strange glow of neon light even in the daytime. The city is a testament to the Gnomish ingenuity and technical mastery, but it's clearly not restricted to only Gnomish population. As you make your way into the city, you see all sorts of people. Humans, orcs, dragonborn, goblins, tieflings. They all fill the busy streets. There's even a handful of automatons clanking around. The flickering neon signs cast an otherworldly glow, painting the streets in vibrant hues of pink, yellow, green and black. As you begin to walk through the streets, Vander, you know exactly where you're heading, having been here before, and the previously nice sunny day has suddenly become overcast and drops of rain begin to fall. There is a perpetual hazy mist covering the streets, obscuring the view of anything but the glowing signs and the people closest to. Can I have an intelligence check from each of you, please?
Vander brought his sunny disposition along with him.
11. So
9.
16.
Say it.
I'd like it to be known that I rolled 25 when I was accidentally at advantage.
What did you actually roll?
7. Natural 1.
Brilliant. Augustus, intrigued by the
Lack of intelligence around me.
yeah, exactly. Everyone else has their heads down, looking at their own
or
feet.
sucking our trousers and laughing.
Everyone else has got the reverse bends from coming down so quickly from the sky.
You're the one that has failed to locate the intelligence button, so I don't think you get any moral high ground here.
I pressed on the word intelligence.
Anyway, you look up at the lights, which are casting this strange colouring over the streets. And closer inspection reveals that there are small insects inside, behind the glass bulb, and the glow is emanating from their illuminated posteriors.
Well, totally worth it. I point out, I explain the word illuminated and the word posterior to my friends.
Presumably that goes right over my head.
Glow butts.
It's very difficult to create a world where you have allusions to things like lights when lights don't exist. So you have to come up with reasons. And I thought you might be interested to know why there are neon light in a medieval fantasy setting.
Most of our group aren't intelligent enough to grab the concept. So.
I was interested to know that. I was thinking that we've all got quite high intelligence, but I was thinking we're overwhelmed by this new foreign city and it's dulling our senses.
Cool.
In fact, our group is actually genuinely a very brainy group for
Character-wise,
so low.
just for clarity. Character-wise.
And even then, the last rolls suggest otherwise.
It's actually quite a difficult thing for the DM, right? Having real-life dullards playing intelligent D&D characters.
Yeah.
But
Correct.
normally for D&D, intelligence is like a dump stat for everyone who isn't a wizard. But we literally haven't got less than a +2.
No power gamers here. You're all terrible. So following Vander's loose instructions, you head towards Tinker's Alley on the southwest outskirts of the city. Even in the early morning, the clanging of hammers and the hiss of steam can be heard. The alleyways teem with gnomish artisans, each tinkering away at their own intricate devices. Their hands are stained with oil and their eyes gleaming with a mix of curiosity and obsession. None of them look up at you as you wander through the streets.
Gentlemen, I know I briefly mentioned Gearhead and her predilection. I just want to reaffirm that she is, for lack of a better term, purest evil, a temper so foul few can even comprehend its viciousness, and have only seen it myself a few times. But I can tell you now, we definitely want to be on her right side. Do we understand each other?
Yes, Vander. We should not stand on the left.
Excellent, Vander says, feeling no sense of reassurance.
Augustus simply chuckles.
Excellent, Vander says, feeling no sense of reassurance.
Yeah, fine, Vander. I'm not looking to get into any arguments. I'm still feeling a bit woozy. I will be quiet and stay out of the way.
In the heart of Tinker's Alley lies the building Vander knows to belong to Gearhead and her Greasefire Gang. The building itself is covered in graffiti and damaged, but even with all of that, you can tell that this used to be a temple or a church of some kind. Can I have religion checks from everyone, please?
15.
21.
15.
Augustus, Tok, and Vander, you all recognize the kind of faded markings that identify this as a temple of the god Tyr. Outside of Gearhead's den, two hulking gnomish guards, or about as hulking as a gnome can get, stand at the entrance, their eyes surveying all those who dare venture near the building. They're both wearing tinted black goggles over their eyes and have tattoos covering their bare muscular arms. They both have club hammers on loops around their waist.
You got any gnomish, Vander?
I've got enough to get by, I think.
I approach the gnomes.
What do you want?
Using absolutely no gnomish, say,
Can I speak to Gearhead, please?
at the same time I produce the chocolate bar I had in episode 2 and continue to gum it.
She expecting you?
I think we go back long enough for this to be a social call.
Give me a persuasion check, please.
I'm going to go 19.
Nat, in you go. Weapons in first chamber.
Many thanks.
And Vander beckons the team through.
You guys step into the dimly lit chamber filled with the rhythmic clatter of machinery and the sharp scent of grease. There is an old gnomish woman stood behind a metal caged counter. She has a bright yellow beehive, which can only be fake, and thick bright red lipstick. She looks at you and opens up a metal slide drawer in front of her cage. Weapons in here. No trouble, no death.
Vander obliges, putting his flintlock in the drawer.
And the rest of you?
Doc will try and put an entire spear into a drawer.
Leave it by the side.
Yeah, he'll leave it by the side.
Benny nods in a friendly way and pops his bow and his short sword in there.
Yeah, likewise. So rapier, longbow, and dagger, whatever else. Oh, anyway, all weapons in the drawer. That's fine. Or by the drawer.
Yeah, Tuck will also leave his mace that I realise he's also carrying.
There's a goodbye. You can go through.
Vander hobbles through.
following the instructions from the receptionist, you push the doors, head down a small corridor, and then push 2 thick metal doors, which have been roughly installed on a wooden frame. It opens up into an enormous cavernous room. Pitched roof rises nearly 50 feet in the air, while remnants of wooden pews scattered on the floor. Ahead up a small set of marble steps is a huge piece of machinery, like a metal barge ship, with countless metal wheels along one side and lengths of copper wiring strewn out at different angles. Even from this distance, you can see a small pair of feet jutting out from under the machine, and sparks are shooting out all around.
Vander approaches cautiously.
The sparks stop as the small figure wheels herself out on a wooden creeper. Her face is relatively young-looking and covered in grease. She's wearing dark blue overalls, and her surprisingly muscular arms are covered in tattoo. Her hair is bubblegum pink, tied in a top knot, over which sit a pair of dirty goggles. Oh, hello there! Is that Mustang?
Vander turns to the group.
I knew it. She's furious. Steady now.
And I turn back. Gearhead! And I open my arms wide.
Oh, you know I don't like to hug, but it is a surprise to see you. I mean, you know the world's going to be turned upside down when Mustang arrives on your doorstep in the middle of the day. What brings you back to Slateholm, Mustang?
I laugh sycophantically.
Well, you see, Gearhead, me and my crew here,
I gesture to the team.
we're actually in the business of looking for work. Very experienced team I have behind me. A lot of jobs under our belts. I'm sure you have something that we could do, something lucrative maybe. It's a real pleasure to see you.
Oh, you always wear the charmer. Oh, it's a pleasure to meet the rest of you. You can call me Greta. And she kind of wipes her hand on a dirty rag and offers it to Augustus and Benny.
Wonderful. Shakes the hand.
Firm grip. Very firm.
Likewise.
I shake her hand and say, nice to meet you, Greta. Name's Benny.
Oh, Benny. Ooh.
Say it in Gnomish to be ingratiating.
Oh, I like that. That's great. And a little bit of an accent there. Is that Middleton?
Oh, well spotted, well spotted. Yeah, absolutely. Quite right.
I've always had an ear for these things.
I'm impressed. We're a long way from Middleton.
Aye, well, you know, I've been around. I mean, Mustang's probably told you all the old stories, and you can't shut him up most of the time.
I laugh.
Is that what you've found? Yeah. It's well, I don't know. It'd be really interesting to get your perspective on some of the old stories that good old Mustang tells. You know.
Vander shuffles in front of Benny.
I apologise, Gearhead. Bit of a talker.
Oh, I like him. And who's the tall fella? I mean, that is quite the suit you're wearing. Is that Costa Curtis?
Augustus Zeno, he says in flawless, unaccented Gnomish.
Ooh.
A pleasure to meet you, madam.
The pleasure's all mine. And you notice that she's blushing slightly as she shakes your hand again.
I give her a devilish grin.
You're looking for some work. Oh, hang on. What's this? Ooh, you've got yourself another automaton. This ain't like the other ones, is it? And she pulls the goggles down and walks up to Tok and begins prodding and poking and pulling out tools and kind of hitting you. This here's custom design.
Yes, he's quite special.
Vander says admiringly.
My name is Tok.
Oh, I didn't ask for your designation, but all right, Tok. I mean, it's not your best, is it, hey, Mustang? You could have come out with something better.
I was not named by Mustang. I was named by my creator.
He's quirky, Gearhead. Again, apologies.
Yeah, quirky automaton, eh? That's quite unusual. And now that I look at it, it's quite a unique construction, isn't it? Where did you find him?
Vander's now furiously shuffling round to get in front of Tok.
Yes, time to discuss. I'm sure we could sit down and have a drink soon and maybe discuss old adventures together. I did mention work. I'm sure you have jobs around for us.
I've got myself a fantastic job, but it's not an easy job. But the pay is spectacularly good. I was going to bring in young Bartle Schultz, but that was before you arrived on my doorstep. So, yeah, if you want me to pick your team instead of Bartle's, I need to know that you can handle it as well as he and his team could.
Oh, well, I can assure you they're all killers. That one there,
pointing at Benny,
he does little else.
Give me a persuasion check.
When Vander describes Benny as such, Benny opens his mouth to contradict him and then thinks a little better of it and shuts his mouth again.
The persuasion was 16.
That's all right, Mustang. We go quite far back. I do trust you, although I'm pretty sure the last time we spoke, you said you'd rather be dead than ever show up in Slateholm again, didn't you? But that's fine. I think the automaton will be fine. I mean, just look at him. Look at all those parts. He's a little beaten up. I could probably give him the once-over, make him look fresh and new.
Well, that's a very kind offer.
I look slightly worried at Tok.
Wouldn't that be nice, Tok?
I am capable of repairing myself if I had time. We have been busy.
Clearly. Well, I mean, I'm not here to disparage your work. You have quite the attitude, which is something else, isn't it, Mr. Automaton? Tok, sorry to call you by your name. I mean, I was just offering a kindness to fix you up much quicker than you could fix yourself. But if you don't want it, that's fine.
I would find your offer acceptable.
Oh, excellent. Now, Tok, you tell me, where did you get your armor from?
My armor was built by my creator, Tick.
And where was Tick from? Who built him?
He was built by his creator, Tok.
Oh, and who built his creator, Tok?
His creator was Tick.
Oh, and how far does this TikTok go back, eh?
It goes back to the creator of all automatons, the Overos.
I think you might have got that a little bit wrong, but it's to be understood, you're only a robot after all. She pats you heavily on the arm. Anyway, let's fix you up a little bit more. And I finished fixing up your automaton. He's looking pretty good, I'd say.
What work has she done?
She's literally just buffered out a few of the...
Okay.
Can everyone give me a perception check, please?
14.
17.
23 with a natural 20.
And 15, the Tok.
Okay, while this is all going on, Benny, you've been keeping your eyes on Gearhead, and you've noticed that she hasn't really taken her eyes off Tok since she first met him. And even when she's working on him, you can see that her eyes are kind of moving all up and down and all over.
And you've got to bear in mind that Augustus is in the room here.
Exactly.
Yeah, clearly not the hottest item there is around.
Come here. I'll tell Bartle I'll use them another day. I think you guys are going to do this job pretty well. I'll have a seat. I'll get us some refreshments and I'll tell you everything there is to know about this. All right? So you guys sit down with her and you hear her clap twice. And from a door that you haven't seen on the other side, two quite attractive female gnomes come out. They appear to be wearing like nice dresses, hair's done nicely, heavy makeup, also have tattoos on their arms. And they're carrying trays with food and drinks on them. They bring them over to where you're sitting. You guys notice tea, whiskey, sandwiches, like quite delicious foods. And Gearhead slaps both the women on the arse and they giggle and leave. Please, have tea. Whiskey, got sandwiches, all sorts of food. It's the finest food you'll get in this place.
Benny held himself to a whiskey and a slightly too large pile of sandwiches to be polite.
I'm getting increasingly suspicious about what's going on here. But the only thing I can think of that Augustus could use here, he's got divine sense.
You've always had this sense of when there's evil or strange things afoot, and you kind of close your eyes for a moment and focus. And you don't register that there's any kind of celestial fiend, anything unusual in this place. Certainly nothing undead. But there is a very small voice in the back of your head that says, you're home.
Okay, well, Augustus relaxes somewhat and shares the food and tea, I suppose.
So, the job, I suppose I should give you the details. Do you know what this thing is over here? And she points at the huge metal barge with the wheels on it.
Investigation check. 13.
You recognize this as a transportation similar to like a metal cart, but the way that the wheels are designed, it look like that they should sit on track. It'd be like a really ornate big mine cart.
Tok will reply in Gnomish, it is a transportation device that moves on tracks, not unlike a minecart. It is advanced.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, that's right. It is a bit like a minecart, but it's actually, we call it a steam runner. We've been building it recently. There's tracks that go all the way around Ovik. And we're about to launch the first ever one for public consumption. The maiden voyage actually is tomorrow night. There are a lot of dignitaries from upper echelons of Imperial Society that are going to be there. And one of them is a woman called Lady Sophia Calibri. She's from Alfarm. What I need you guys to do is steal a ring from her.
And will she be on this contraption?
She absolutely will. So I have been building this particular section, this carriage, which will be added to the Steam Runner's train. Within it, there is a compartment that I can smuggle you into to forego any need for official invitation. No one will question you once you're on board.
Of course. And the matter of coin?
Well, I was looking to pay 400 gold for someone completing this job. And as a bonus, anything you find on there, other than the ring, you can keep.
I think I speak for the crew when I say we'd be delighted to, and jobs of this level are run-of-the-mill for us.
What's interesting about ring?
Well, it's an old family heirloom. It's stolen by the Emperor during the creation of the Empire. I want it back, and, if something bad were to happen to this lady, I wouldn't shed a tear.
The Empire has wronged all of us.
Indeed. But in many ways, they're just like any other kingdom that rules. They're a necessary evil, aren't they?
I think, I'd agree with that at it.
Is there any other information you need before doing the job?
Well, I was wondering, Gearhead, we have need of repairs of our transport ourselves. Might it be possible to acquire this?
Well, Mustang, that is quite the pickle. As you know, it's quite a rare wood, and, it's illegal to own it, so I don't know why you think I'd have some.
Oh, just intuition, I guess.
Oh, you do make me laugh. I'll tell you what, you complete this job for me, I'll make sure you get enough wood to fix whatever it is you've broken.
Very kind, very kind.
What is it you've broken?
Oh, nothing of great import. It's just a method of transport I've been working on. Not as fancy as your contraption here.
I think 400 gold and some wood is a fair deal, don't you?
Agreed. And Vander's gnarled hand shoots out.
I've got a couple of questions. Well, Mustang, as the person who is doubtless going to be the one doing the actual stealing, I have a couple of practical questions. This lady Sophia, does she travel with much of a guard, or is she travelling solo?
Well, she's a member of the elite, so I'd imagine she'll be travelling with some guard. I mean, not everyone is as brave as Augustus here to just be walking around with some friends.
And the ring, does she wear it, or would it likely be in some sort of safe place?
She would likely be wearing it, so I'm afraid it's going to take quite a masterful thief to get it off of her hand without noticing. Unless, of course, you want to take the whole hand.
Just a finger would suffice.
No.
Good to have options, isn't it?
Absolutely. Any other questions I can help you with, Benny?
I think that'll do for now, thanks. Those seem to be the key things.
Weary, once we have removed the finger and ring, how would we proceed back to this location?
Oh, it would be quite simple. Just head back to this carriage here, get back into your hiding spots, and eventually the steam runner will come back to Slateholm.
No chance of the wood up front then, Gearhead?
He says tentatively.
Give me a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Come on, we got this. Oh, 6. Oh, dear. Oh, no.
Now, you know that's not how I like to do business now, Mustang, is it?
Oh, yes, I remember now.
One more thought, Greta. Is it possible to get a map of this engine? So, how many carriages there are going to be between the one we're secreted in and the one that old Lady Sophia's going to be in, and any sort of obstacles we might be able to anticipate in between two?
I'm sure I could come up with something for you before tomorrow. No problem.
That'd be extremely helpful.
Where is it you're staying? Where should I send the information to?
Excellent question. Where is it we're staying, Mustang?
We'll come by and pick it up.
Why don't we say that you guys show up here tomorrow, early afternoon, say 2 o'clock, and I'll make sure to put you away in the relevant carriage hiding spots. How's that sound? And whenever you're ready, you come back tomorrow morning, and I'll make sure to give you the plans too.
Very kind. We should be going now, but it's lovely to see you, Gearhead. We must catch up properly soon.
Of course.
Greta, might I ask, just before we depart, how did you come to be in this strange building? It's quite an unusual place to become a workshop, or whatever you'd call this establishment that you're running.
It was a temple to Tyr, the god of courage and self-sacrifice.
Talk seems to know an awful lot about it.
His symbol is a white gauntlet.
I think that's right. As I understand it, there used to be worshippers of Tyr here. Like knights, the kind of dashing heroes, big, tall, and strong, riding horses into battle.
Thank you, Greta. It's fascinating. I just was interested to know the background of this rather unusual place.
I'm sure there'll be other people around town who know more than me, but I just like to use it because it's big and spacious.
Hopefully we'll see you again, Greta. It'd be lovely to hear some stories at good old days. You and Mustang. I'm sure you've got some tales that even he's not told us about yet, and then maybe we can all enjoy.
I'll tell you about the crazy Ivan he once pulled. Woo! Mustang, he's crazy.
Oh yes, yeah. How much has become clear.
I laugh as getting to my doddery feet and making my way to the exit.
So you guys have head back out into Tinker's Alley. You know that you have a job in 24 hours' time. And you can head back in the morning to get the plans. So what would you like to do?
Gentlemen, before we do anything, I think to be seen together as a four when it's possible that half of the Empire is looking for a quartet of people, including an automaton and an individual of Vander's particular description, I suggest we might be better served to divide perhaps into pairs and to reconvene here. We could even head for the same inn, but to move around as a four is probably something we should avoid henceforth.
Good idea, I think.
I find that idea sensible.
Oh, it's a step up from acceptable. Yeah, makes sense to me.
Just overtaken squirrels and shot up to 3.
So where are you heading? Who are the pairs? And
I'm gonna head over to or shamble up to Augustus.
Augustus, I just wanted to say again, thank you for saving Plex. He is dear to me, and maybe I can buy you a drink.
It extends his gnarled hand again, which I'm sure is quite horrible, but...
No, Augustus is happy to shake it and says, thank you, Vander. I appreciate your kind words, and I'm glad to have been able to assist.
Well then.
Let's go and get that drink. To the glittering pearl!
Augustus yells in the middle of the street, causing a few gnomes to look up and then completely disregard him and go back to their tinkering.
Well, I can see the glittering pearl is near the bazaar, so Benny has a selection of jewels, gems, that he kind of thinks would be quite nice to get a bit of cash for in order to purchase some accommodation for the evening. So I'm going to kind of have a look out for a place that might be able to sell those.
I will accompany you, Benny. There are some items I wish to procure.
Okay, cool. Benny and Tug are going to a shop, which I'm sure can only end in good things. Vander and Augustus are going to the Glittering Pearl.
Tok, this might sound a bit weird, but while we're here in the city, it might be wise if we pretend that I'm your master and you sort of follow my lead, if that makes sense.
You wish for us to blend in, Benny?
Yes, exactly. That is exactly what I'd like us to do.
I find your suggestion of discretion acceptable.
All right.
Benny and Tok, you notice a shop called Floral and Hardy, which appears to be a kind of general store, have various items on the outside. You can certainly see some gems on the inside through the windows. So it looks like a good spot to go.
I'll say so. Right, I'm gonna have a crack at selling these gems here. What is it that you're looking to buy?
I was looking to buy a small leather belt around 12 inches long, approximately half an inch wide, and a gem of quartz. It is a common gem. It should not cost a significant amount. I am also interested in purchasing any exotic inks, but that is a lesser priority.
All right. Well, let's see what we can do then, and head into the shop.
We'll come back to you in a second. Augustus and Vander, you have head into the Glittering Pearl. It's a fairly rowdy place. There's a lot of noise. It's already quite busy. The ceilings are quite low, obviously designed for the Gnomish people, and the majority of people in there are Gnomish.
I shamble in, guiding Augustus in with me. Seeing that it's quite busy, I shamble up to a table of 2, looking at the 2 gnomes sat there. I remove my mask.
Sorry, I don't suppose these tables are free.
The gnomes look at you, horrified, grab their drinks, stand up, and immediately walk away.
I turn politely.
Augustus,
It looks like there are some tables as I fit my mask back to my face.
Why don't we have a seat here?
Coming, of course.
How about we try a drink that's rather a local delicacy? Would you like that?
Yes, that sounds enchanting.
I turn to the bar staff.
2 creme de menthes.
Coming right up.
So, Augustus, your sword stroke today was superb. A great example of poise, if you don't mind me saying.
Thank you, Vander. It was very kind. And the work of you and your team in avoiding the collision with the ground was also excellent and timely.
I will say that I am not a bad pilot. Have you got any training with that sword? You look like a trained fighter.
Yes, of course. It was part of my education back in Denotlia. It was expected for any young gentleman to know how to wield a sword and move with grace.
It certainly did today. I used to have some talent with a blade too, believe it or not.
I do believe it, Vander. In fact, I'd wanted to ask you a little of that. I saw you in conversation with Kalen back in Haven, and he, to my eyes, appeared familiar with you. You embraced each other, I think. I wondered whether you and he had some history, and such a brave and strong person as he was made me wonder if you'll forgive me, your past life was more of that sort.
I take on a misty look and slug back a tasty creme de menthe while I consider answering.
I really talked myself into a corner there. That got a lot ruder. I was basically like, hey, did you used to be like...
I tried desperately not to be offended, yeah.
It was a different time, Augustus. I was once not as I am now. I knew Kalen when we were both much younger. My body was whole. And as I say, I was actually quite a swordsman.
Really? And how did you find yourself fighting alongside Kalen if fighting is what you were doing?
Well, young men do have a weakness for heroism, don't they? Not something I'm afflicted with these days, you know.
But in what cause?
Well, of course, against the Empire. What else?
Notes being made there.
Lot of scribbling of pencils there.
I was fairly well known, actually, though I say so myself, though I also had many of the weaknesses of the young. Quite unbearable in some ways, I'm afraid. Not the whole and wonderful angelic character I am now.
I smile with all 3 of my teeth.
Right, so I find that impossible to imagine, Vander. I'm sure you have always been exactly as delightful as you are now.
Of course, I simper, missing the clear sarcasm.
2 more creme de menthes.
Camera right up.
Are they both for you, or...?
And you, Augustus, tell me your past. I'm intrigued to know where you learned your swordcraft.
Well, I learned it in my home realm of Denotlia, my dear Vander. As, indeed, from the accent, I suspected Kalen, which is why I took an interest in your point of origin.
Kalen was, as you say, from your region. He is a powerful Rojan, very well known, hated by the Empire.
He was a Rojan.
Yes, such a breed of person doesn't tend to be seen in these parts, at least these times. You've heard of the breed?
I have. I know a little of who they are and what legend says they can do. I confess I had thought until today that I'd never met one, although now I discover I had. Maybe more than one.
You may have. A very talented, very idealistic, very afflicted race.
As you indeed described yourself a moment ago.
Interesting, that.
Lugging another creme de menthe.
Now just waving at the bar for more, not even speaking.
They bring the bottle over.
The creme de menthe bottle! Amazing.
That's when you know you're winning at life.
I pour a generous measure for Augustus, who I hope is keeping pace, right?
Augustus takes his first sip of creme de menthe.
That'll be 1 gold, please.
I look at Augustus, pausing ever so slightly.
Augustus, being a man of breeding, waits a beat since Vander clearly offered to buy the drinks, but Augustus quickly produces the gold piece and hands it to the gnome serving us the drinks.
Thank you. Fancy making that gold piece back.
I'm not sure I understand your meaning, my dear man.
Well, since coming in here, I've had a bit to drink now, and I feel I could use seeing some violence. We could head over to the pit and place a bet. We've got a bottle of creme de menthe and a night to burn. What do you say?
I think, my dear Vander, I must, with regret, decline. I fear I've seen more violence in the last week than I had hoped ever to see.
Well, if there's one thing my past has taught me, it's that violence can be lucrative.
I rather think that the method of accumulation of wealth is at least as important as the wealth itself.
A very unnoble view of a noble man, if you don't mind my saying. Noble men tend not to make their money via very noble means. At least that's my experience.
Well, I think one thing we can say for certain of the four of us who find ourselves together is that none of us do what others tend to do at all.
I guess that's true.
Vander takes another creme de menthe and swigs that one back.
Benny and Tok, you have entered into a shop. It is a dusty, busy place with lots of shelves stacked with all sorts of trinkets, curios, and more mundane things like strips of leather, basic clothing, all the standard adventuring items. There is a small gnome with a thick black beard and a singular monocle with a small extendable section on it. Hello there.
Hiya. Good afternoon. How's it going?
Not bad, not bad. It's almost the end of the day. Off to the Glittering Pearl for some creme de menthe. Delicious.
Oh, is that... don't know if I've come across creme de menthe. Is that I take it that's a drink, is it? Is it nice, is it?
It is. It's a gnomish delicacy. Bright green, very minty, makes you smell all fresh.
Maybe I'll give it a try. Is it an alcoholic sort of drink, or is it?
It's quite strong. I'm not sure a human would be able to handle it.
All right. Well, maybe I'll just try a small one in a bit. Anyway, before we start boozing, a little bit of buying and selling, if you've a mind.
That's why I'm here.
All right. Let's start with. I take it you buy.
Of course, if you got good stuff, I'm always on the lookout for buying.
Got some gems here that I'm looking to sell. If you're interested.
Of course, let me have a look at them.
No, yeah. Take out the bag with the gems and kind of unfold it in front of him. What do you reckon?
He pulls out his little monocle and he begins to investigate each gem individually and kind of stacks them into different colours. Oh, this is a fine collection. Where'd you get this from?
It's me inheritance, to be honest. Last thing, only thing my parents really left me when they died, and it's a bit sad, but got to cash it in. Got to live, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'll give you. I reckon these are worth about 50 gold.
Well, it's been a long day, and you seem pleasant enough, so I'm not minded to haggle about it. 50 sounds about right to me.
Slides the 50 and pulls the gems into a drawer behind the counter. Anything else?
No, selling's out of the way. I was hoping for a little bit of buying. I got a couple of things on my list.
Sure.
No, just sold you some gems, but we're looking for a little bit of quartz. You got any quartz?
Yeah, we got quartz, fairly common. How much do you need?
I think I just need the one. Tok, remind me, what was it that we needed? Was it just one quartz?
It was a small quartz crystal that was required.
There you go. Who needs a memory when you got an automaton, eh?
Absolutely. I got something that'll do the job. It'll cost you 8 gold.
All right. Well, how about, have you got us I'm looking also for a leather belt. And have you got any, this might sound weird, have you got any exotic inks?
Yeah, got all sorts of exotic inks. Very popular with the gnomish people, the exotic inks. How much of that do you need?
Tok, my memory's gone again. What was it we were after?
It was ink of a magical nature.
Okay, I think I get your meaning. Yeah, I can do you that for 1 gold.
Oh, all right. So how about this? You give us 40. We'll take those items, and we'll call it at that.
Sounds like a deal to me.
All right. Pleasure doing business with you.
Nice doing business. I must say, it's very nice to meet such a polite human when his pet automaton, Tok, you said his name was. What's your name?
Benny.
Ah, nice to meet you, Benny. My name is Hardy.
Nice to meet you, Hardy.
Nice to meet you too.
We're new in town. Where would you recommend finding a place to stay?
Glittering Pearl does decent rooms, quite cheap. It's just over the road as well.
Might check it out. Thank you. And maybe we'll see you there for a creme de menthe.
Marvellous.
Let's get moving. And as I step out into the sunshine, I say, I tell you what, Tok, I wasn't being very cautious there. Didn't really think it through before he asked us for his names. Note to everyone, don't do that again.
Agreed, Benny. Maybe we should use second names, much like Mustang.
Yeah, it might not be a bad idea. Oh, well.
So you guys head over to the Glittering Pearl. As you enter, you notice that Vander and Augustus, they stand out from the rest of the crowd, obviously being substantially taller than most gnomes. They have a table to themselves where there is a nearly empty bottle of creme de menthe. There is half a shot in a glass in front of Augustus and flopped creme de menthe all over the table near an empty glass in front of Vander.
Gentlemen! Vander waves.
Augustus has clearly imbibed all of a sudden quite a lot of creme de menthe, and he's just finishing off a story as the other two arrive at the table. Then I ran out into the snow wearing nothing but a beaver pelt and an emerald tiara. The bishop saw the funny side once he calmed down and stopped crying. He was a friend of my father's, you know. Bloody good chap. Bloody good chap.
Vander nods seriously. I quite understand. Trying to put his mask back in place.
Their voices appear to be different. Have they been poisoned?
No, Tok. They are pissed.
Gentlemen, you should join us. You're just in time for the next round of the drinking game. We're playing Chicken Nug Nug.
Augustus does a massive thumbs up.
I do not detect the aroma of ammonia.
In the corner of the bar, a gnomish band begin striking the drums and playing a collection of lutes and flutes. And there is a general happy vibe in the pub.
We're doing a good job of keeping our heads low, lads.
Oh, yes. Are you going to play Chicken Nug Nug? I think I'm winning. You see, Augustus just played Slippy Duck, then spilt his drink, failed to cluck twice, and now he's in the hen house.
No, it's not the place to be.
Look, creme de menthe. We've got creme de menthe here for Vander and Augustus.
Over here.
Hurrah!
Vander, Benny was suggesting that we choose alternate names whilst we are in this city. I suggest we pick those names now.
Yes!
I want to pick Augustus's name.
I'll be Mustard. What did that lady call you?
No, I'm Mustard.
Augustus is correct. Vander's name was Mustang.
Oh, yes, Mustang. Because of the horse incident. I remember that.
But Vander, Kalen also said you had a different name. Is Vander your real name? Vander?
I turn to Augustus.
Oh, look. Top's got a question. Look at Top. Look at his question. You see that?
Augustus absolutely howls with laughter and bangs the table.
Doc just stares at them for a bit, turns back to Benny and says, Benny, are you sure they are all right?
I mean, it depends on how you define an all right, doesn't it? They'll be fine in the morning. It's probably a bit of a dead loss for the rest of the day, to be honest.
I lose it nothing,
says Vander, rising to his feet.
Excuse me, I think I've got to spend a penny, Benny.
Tackling at his own awful joke as he shambles past outside to relieve himself in the privy.
Benny looks absolutely furious at this inadvertent callback to his childhood.
I think probably this is about the time that Vander will shuffle off to bed after having. I think he's just going to pay for a room here at the tonight.
Benny, shall we arrange for accommodation? They do not seem capable.
There's a good man, Todd. Get my luggage.
Tell you what, Tok, why don't we arrange for our accommodation and then we can see how they manage on their own.
I find that to be acceptable.
Yeah, me too. I find that to be pretty acceptable. All right, see you later, Augustus.
Augustus is dancing to music that you can't hear.
We'll see you in the morning. And Benny's going to go to his room and read through his notebook.
And with you two heading up to the room and Vander having disappeared to spend a penny, with Augustus dancing to the music of the band, not quite in time, the evening draws to a close, and on the following day, you are going to be attempting to rob a noblewoman on a train. And let's end it there.
You've been listening to Dice Company's Small Embers, starring Dave Windust as Benny Quez, Alex Morrison as Augustus Zeno, Charlie Blackadder as Vander Finnick, and Harry King as Talk, with Tom Patrick as your Dungeon Master.
Well, that's an interesting question. I have to say, I believe it used to be. I don't know why I have to do a voice there. Excuse me. I believe it. Turned into a fucking brummy.
I want to release some helium in the workshop. Slowly, everyone's voices are getting funny.
Ooh, I believe it used to be. Fuck it, I've lost the accent. Fantastic.
I think you started Irish and went West Country. I think you've been pretty West Country since then.
Weaving between the two. It used to be a temple of sorts, as I understand it. Us gnomes used to worship a lot of people, you see. American, apparently.
No problem, man.
Hey, man. Us gnomes, yeah.
I think actually, just as a quick aside, and I know John is going to make you cut this out, but there was a reference previously to everyone dying on a shopping trip.
Yes.
Is that a reference to prior questing?
Yes.
When we all died on a shopping trip.
Yeah, I mean, was it so harrowing you blocked it out?
I've got no memory of that at all.
I didn't die. I ran away screaming.
Is that better somehow?
Thanks for listening. Please consider supporting Dice Company on Patreon, where for the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to a whole other show, Extra Roll, as well as an ad-free listening experience. The Dice Company Discord server, along with our socials, can be found on our Linktree in the show notes. If you enjoyed this chapter, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to recommend us to your friends. If you didn't like it, recommend us to your enemies. And we'll see you next time on Dice Company.